Hello and welcome back to another episode of Under the Floorboards. This is now episode 22, and at time of recording we're about a few days away from Christmas. So this will be New Year, so happy New Year to you all, and we had a lovely Christmas.
Happy New Year.
And I am, as you can hear, joined again with my host. I missed him on my last one. Many of you probably thought he's done a runner from me, but no, he's back. Good to have you back. It was a bit weird not having you here last time.
I know, sorry about that. Obviously,
usually
I was away getting my teeth fixed and getting my six-pack done, getting my hair
your
replaced.
tan and all that done.
Aye. Fake tan.
I was saying that to the last guest, Amy, as well. She says, look, when Stephen talks, it gives me a time to drink my coffee, so you're going to have to talk so I can get my drinks in. And then I was just sitting on my lap at times going, right, okay.
I thought you were going to say he gives me inspiration, not just he gives me time to...
You inspire me sometimes. Inspire me not to wear a red top.
Oh, I know, I'm sucking in for the entire thing now. Look,
Clearly,
I should have worn black.
We've kept it festive, haven't we? It's going to come out in January. So we've kept it festive just so you know it's Christmas.
Well, I think I used these a couple of days ago for Christmas Day.
Do I know what you are? I really don't know what you used them for. I don't want to ask either.
It's very nice. It's
What's
very,
it, anal beads?
my Christmas Day. Yeah, it's a bit like a extra long rosy bead.
Anyway, so... Yes, end of year.
So I'm going to ask a couple of questions. You're going to ask. We're going to fire back and forward. We're going to think of things that people have asked. And then we are going to answer them. And then I'm going to try... Let's try and see if I can put some controversial questions in there just when we think we're cruising.
I know. So get shut down at the start of the year. Get complaints.
Just a bit of sport. But we'll start with an easy one. Two wins... And then two fails. Let's go with 2 wins and 2 fails.
2 wins and 2 fails.
And I know there might be no any fails, but you know there's things that you go, shit, man.
There's always fails. Aye. Start with the win, start off in a positive. I think my assisted sale this year. It was, when I've done them before, it's been like, there's always been another party involved. And it's kind of like you had that kind of crutch to lean on sometimes. So... This one was full of myself, found it myself, refurbed it myself, raised the finance to do the investment myself in the refurb. Obviously used an agent to sell it, but being able to find the right agent to sell it. I think obviously I'm always quite positive with my numbers anyway, in terms of rental figures are always usually on point, or actually slightly, it comes in slightly higher. I've had very little down values, and I'm proud of that. You still get down values in here, but I think also when assisted sale you need to be spot on. And I think I can't remember if I've said the numbers on this one before, but we got 21.5% above home report for a 2-bedroom flat in Govan. Oh. Now, 21.5% above home report is good, incredible, obviously, but I think for where it was, I was expecting even home report was good value for us anyway, doing it, but 21.5% was just. I'm on holiday with the kids, the family, and get a phone call for the agent, and I'm sitting in the terrace listening to my tunes, drinking a couple of beers, and that comes through. It's just that's picture perfect on how it was, but never came without its issues, obviously. But that was a massive win for me. I think again, just the first full one from start to finish. That's good. So for me, that's a massive win.
And that's something you're going to do next year.
It's a strategy I've employed before. I'll continue to do. I've just made a couple of offers for them today as well. I'm trying to do it with agents as well. I think I've never been able to do it with an agent, an assisted sale. I can see why, because obviously they're listing the property. Does it maybe look like they're going between, tail between the lines a little bit and going, oh, listen, we can't get it sold. Do you want to try this instead? I get that. There's maybe a kind of point where they're maybe standing going, we've marketed this, we can't get it sold. And it kind of feels like they come back to the client with an option that's a bit unusual. Cause,
like a plan B.
Yeah. But the way I kind of try and put it, and I've made a full pack for it, like a refurb to sell pack, and it's kind of like, it's just presenting the property in a better light, because the owner can't, or the person who's done it, usually a lot of these ones, like the one I'm looking at just now, for example, it's been on the market for 7 months, and it's just no shifting. They're not getting anywhere near what they're going to, it's a lovely area. I know the area very, very well. It's just no selling because of the price range it's at. People want that in walk-in condition, just because the price range it's at. Mm-hmm. But it's not. It needs work. It needs about 20-25 on it. Whereas I'm saying, well, I've made a few offers to do it myself, and we've got to a number that they're happy with. I'm like, because it's quite high, it was like over 200k. I'm like, as soon as you add in tax, it's like so hard for us to justify that price you want, but here's an option B. So, like I said, it's been hard to get anything through an agent. That would be a massive win to be able to do that, because it's another arm for them to utilise as well. And if we can be a partner of that, then absolutely brilliant. But definitely looking forward to doing more of them next year. And another win. I don't know. Would I call it another win? I went VAT registered. Is that a win?
It is.
I think obviously when you look at obviously your turnover and stuff like that as well, it's good. To finally get to that stage, it just comes with its own headaches as well. But I think overall the year that I've had has just been a win in itself. I think there's been a lot of opportunities where I've had that kind of fork in the road, where I've been offered certain things and not went down that path, and you always kind of go, did I regret that move, or did I not? Did I handle it the best way, or did I not? And you look back at my year and go, do you know, actually pretty proud of what I've accomplished over the last 12 months or so. So I'm happy with that. And obviously the biggest thing for me is protecting my time. So I was at Ruby's nativity the other day there.
Wearing the same hat?
It's wearing the same hat, mate. But that's the biggest thing for me, is just being able to show up. Like, they do that thing, they're peering around to see if you're there, and then they clock eyes me and they're just smiling. It's better than any assisted sale flip. So like that for me is everything. Like, and that's the thing that probably gives you that time to protect your own time, and be able to show up and go to those things. And yeah, cool, could have maybe put a request in for work, and maybe I had to owe time back and put a holiday in if I was working. But for me, I'm like, I was able to choose not to. And I had a really good afternoon. Me and Chloe went for lunch and stuff like that as well. We just had a day like not really doing anything. So, but again, that's just, for me, that is a win that kind of summarises the year and summarises the win, if that kind of makes sense, being able to have those kind of moments.
Because I have the same, but I probably have a different thinking. I'm just thinking in my head, sometimes you get, I don't want to say guilty, but it's almost like you're thinking, what could I be doing? It's that whole, do you remember in America in the 80s, they'd say, oh, my dad's fantastic, he's great, but I never see him, but he's going to make us rich and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's almost like that guilt of, well, that's a whole day off. What could I be doing in this day? Or I could be doing this and that and the next thing. And maybe me personally, I'm like, right, I need to get up earlier tomorrow to recover for the stuff I've missed.
Yeah. I think I know what you mean, because the whole time we were out, so we went for lunch, but to Topgolf, got a wee swing and had some lunch, just because the food's absolutely banging. But the whole time, not the whole time, but a lot of time I'm thinking, what else could I be doing with this time? And the more I think about it, I'm like, but why are you doing everything in the first place? If it's not to enjoy these moments, I'm not doing this every day.
I know.
If it's not to enjoy these moments, then why the fuck are you even doing it in the first place?
Yeah,
just go and get a job and work for somebody else's time. If you're not going to enjoy your time, you've got it. Could have, sat in front of a laptop and like done loads of viewings, and possibly, but I can do that tomorrow, I can do it the next day, I could do it the day before. I could plan my week out. I knew that day was, nativity, and there's maybe a bit of time in between. I couldn't go to a viewing before it. I wasn't quite sure when it finished, so I never really booked anything in for that day. But you do get a little bit of that guilt. But a few of the guests we've had on, there's been another kind of recurring theme, is like opportunity's always going to be there anyway.
I think it's, what is it they say? If it's not for you, it won't go by you, right?
Aye.
And you're right, you might go, oh, I might have missed an opportunity, but the next day you might have had one that the timing was perfect on. So you're better just to leave it to fate.
You can't, you can't really take action when empty cup, or whatever that saying is. Do you know what I mean? Like, you fill up your own cup, and for me, I probably needed that day. But again, I chose to do that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, there is going to be times where you think, I really should. Like, it's different if I was sitting watching something on TV, which I don't do often. Maybe at night time, I'm a slabs on. Me and Chloe sit and watch that, but I generally don't sit about daytime watching TV. If I was, I'd probably think to myself, I really should be doing something productive here. And
I thought you were going to say, I really don't like one of the Kardashians or something like that.
But it was somebody, I cannot remember his name now. I heard him speak at the business conference, and he was saying about those kind of things where, like, you need to remember to take those times. It's not always about every second of every hour. It's like enjoying those small wee breaks. Like, don't be guilty for taking an hour out to sit and chill and just zone out for an hour. But as long as you're actually back and you're taking action beforehand, you're taking action afterwards, those little hours or whatever, then it's fine to take those time and don't feel guilty so much about it. You always compare yourself, they're doing all this. Run your own race. I made a 4-week time planner, and it basically just like I get ChatGPT to help me. Brilliant. I could do it myself. I used to do these kind of analysis things for performance and work, and it would take me 20, 30 minutes or something because I was doing it manually and try to edit everything. But I made ChatGPT make it. I made some edits. It's basically just every hour of every day for 4 weeks, what you're doing on those hours.
Yeah.
And then highlight, categorise, note it and all that kind of stuff. And it was amazing to see, one, a lot of time I sleep. I'm like, can I maybe take an hour or two off that sleep time? And then times you feel like you're not, those kind of thing you're talking about, an hour to do this, an hour to do that, you might sometimes feel like, yeah, I'm not doing it that often. But see, when I started tracking it, I'm like, shit, I'm maybe doing too much of that. Like, still do it, still enjoy it, but not as much as I was doing, especially on weekends where I thought, you're wasting time here. You're just completely wasting time. That was brilliant for me to make up that 4-week planner, or 4-week timesheet, should I say, and it just tracks and visualising pie charts and all that to say, like, where is your time going and how can you better utilise it? Because if you're not hitting the viewings you want each week, or making the meta offers, or making the investor meetings or whatever else you want to be doing, the productive stuff, the money making stuff, then where is your time going? Because you're too busy. Honestly, it's like putting a mirror in front of yourself and going, what are you actually doing with your time?
But is it too busy being busy? Like, I think you sometimes, I'm guilty of, and I call it my slack time. So you're too busy finding, procrastinating better things to do, right? Like systems is mine, right? I could spend years just farting around with shite. I watched, I did TikTok and I did motion. I use motion because it just tells me exactly what I have to do all the time, and it just shuffles the time around. But there's a thing called the Pomodoro effect. Getting on deep here, right? Pomodoro, it's an actual science. And you get it with TikTok, and what it says is that you should never work an hour. So Pomodoro for me is 50 minutes. So I set a timer for 50 minutes on every hour. And it's just a little thing that runs it for me. And then when it gets to 50 minutes, I stop what I'm doing. I stop for 10 minutes and I go and do something else entirely. Might be I do nothing, might be systems, might be just nothing. Watch a telly. And then it clicks me back in again and I start for another 50. And it does work. It does. And then it tells you that if you look it up, I think you can look it up online and it will tell you if you're better in the morning or better in the afternoon. And then you should just do your hard stuff whenever you're better.
Everyone's like, you need to go up at 4 a.m. to seize the day. Like, see, if you're not a morning person, I tried that. I'm not a morning person. I'm more productive at night time. So I'll do a lot of the difficult with that is obviously not a lot of things are really happening in night time, but then what's happening at 4 o'clock in the morning. Maybe it's that kind of way of getting the hardest part of your day out with it. It's like fitness or going to run or setting up your day. I don't know. But not like time blocking basically, isn't it? Like you're setting 50 minutes, 45, whatever it may be, like you're setting time to do certain works, cancel out everything else. You see people with like the big massive ear defenders on and just completely blocking out everything else and just focusing on that task for that certain period of time. So that's massive. But I know that's my 2 wins. Fails.
Or no fails, just things that you look back and maybe you go, maybe I should have done that different. Now I know. Wiser. Older and wiser. What would you, 1 year back, you go, I need to keep an eye on that?
I think doubt myself quite a bit, which I'll put into a fail because I know I could have done so much more this year. That's the thing. And there's a lot of time where I caught myself. And it's one thing to catch yourself, but then like to actually like take action off the back of it, like just thinking I shouldn't be doing that. And I tell people all the time that I'll speak about it, and I will do it. Like fuck what other people think. Just go and get it done. People are going to talk about it either way or that kind of thing. But there is certain times I caught myself going, maybe I shouldn't post that, or maybe I shouldn't do that. And it's just wee stumbles along the way. But I think for me that's a bit of we use the word fail, we're learning that actually it's fine to think about I suppose what people might think, and that kind of way, like, I shouldn't be posting this or I shouldn't be doing that. Fine to be a bit fearful of that, but just do it anyway.
Yeah, but
do you know what I mean?
I think I'm exact same. You have to show that you're human and you think things and you have emotions, and you're not like going to have a team of PR sitting around you saying to you, actually, let me reword how we do that, or I don't think you should say that. You just need to be human, and sometimes things will. I'm swearing a lot on this one. Sometimes people will piss you off a lot and you can just comment on it. Sometimes you'll bite the bullet. Sometimes you'll do stuff that later on you go, bit of a dick, I shouldn't have done that.
So the biggest one for me was, so I spoke live at the Scottish Property Podcast event, and when I asked to do it, he's asked me for a while to do it, and I was saying no every time, because like, who am I? That kind of, I don't know where that doubt came in, but somewhere along the line it came into my head and I let it get in, and I just never really like battled it, and eventually he's like, just do it. I'm like, cool. And then I was telling you like how nervous I was before it and everything else, and it's kind of one of those, like, who am I to stand up there and talk what I was talking about, and who am I to do this, and who am I to promote this, and the things we spoke about before, like, you know, mini series and courses and coaching and training. I'm like, that kind of doubt inside your head gets there a little bit. I think that's been I'd probably roll it into not two, but just a big overall fail or learning. Is like I let that seep into my mind too many times this year. That probably prevented me from doing shit I should have get done. But it's not went back. It's had a great year. I still enjoyed what I've done this year. But again, if I just look at it going like, you're such an asshole, man. Why do you even like that? See, like I it's fighting to talk a good game. Like, so don't worry about other people's opinions, all that kind of stuff. You know, go and do it. Like, doesn't matter. And then you're letting that seep into your own mind at times. Like, fucking hell, man.
Exactly.
So it's one of the ones I just doubted myself far too many times this year. But I overcame them. Like, I went and spoke at the event. Anyway, and that was a big thing for me. Like, if I didn't go and speak at that event, I think that would have been one that would have just sat there in that doubt. But the fact I went and done it, whether it was good or people got value from it, or, you know, it was absolutely pish, I still went and done it. It's one of those ones, you've just done it. Like, you might not have been the most polished thing, but you went and done it and you've spoken. So, aye, that was probably...
good. I was there, cheering you on. You done very well.
You were. Ask me weird questions. What about you? You've had a massive year. What's been your...
I think... I suppose HMO is probably... That's been a great one, and probably a massive lesson learned. The biggest lesson learned for me is easily HMO. So I did an HMO for myself first, and I literally rebuilt half of it, redone it all, and it's come out. It's took me a long time, and I've learned. It's cost me so much money on different things all the way through it. But that was a great, and now it's finished, I'm like, that's a result. And it's like, it's almost like when you have your first kid, and if they're terrible, you're like that during it, I'm never having another kid. And then see, like a year later, when they're all looking all beautiful, you're like, we should have more kids. That's what it was like with the HMO. Because then what happened is, when I got to a point that I was like, it was good, a guy said to me, I want to buy an HMO. And I was through a company that gave me discounts, and I sold one to somebody in Norwich. And kind of actually found somebody, it was like a friend, my friend's cousin, who then said, I live nearby, I'll refurb it for you. And it was just, it seemed to be really easy, because I took none of the shit, and it was a lot easier down south than up in Angus, I may add. And then, as a result of that, I did a JV with one in between, I guess, Middlesbrough, between Middlesbrough and Newcastle, which is phenomenal. But if I hadn't known all the crap that I'd done on the first one, you know, like fire risk assessment. If anybody's ever watching this and doing an HMO, do not do a fire risk assessment to the very, very end, right? Because you'll just pay for it. And everybody always goes, please check the screws or the hinges on that door because they don't look fire rated. And then you go, no, I'll change them. And they go, great, can you get the fire risk assessment done again then? You're like, no worries, course. Or... You know, I ended up paying 3 times. I got 3 fire risk assessments in the course of 6 weeks. And it was just... So stuff like that. But the HMO was a great win for me. I guess another one... I've got another one has just been building. No, I will go with... I started... So last October, 2024, right? I'm trying to make sure that we're not in the new year now. Yeah. 2024, you know, like a guy from the UAE contacted me and says, I've got some money, can you get me a house? I want to make £850 a month. And I was like, right, okay, I'll have a look. And then I just done it, and I found one, and I got him a good deal and all this kind of thing. And then as a result of that, I then went back, and when I came back again, he says, do you want to meet for a beer? I met him in Dubai, met him for a beer. He's like, I brought a couple of my mates. We want the same. And then suddenly it was like an accidental business. I kind of fell into a wee bit that I've kind of been, and they don't care. It's got good and bad, right? I get lots of people, I get people phone me. I'm getting inquiries a lot on it. But you get two different types of people, I'm going to say, or three. You'll get, I just want to make money. In fact, it's two. I just want to make money. I don't care a monkeys. They're perfect, right? They're just amazing. And then one I got last week, I just want to make money. I was like, great. Are you bothered where the properties are? No, not really. And you know how you can hear it? Remember we were talking about this one, it was a while ago. No, not really. This is the same guy. Back. Because I've just blanked him and he's like, keeps coming back now. And now he's suddenly like, from we spoke, he was like saying, I only want to go to Manchester, Oxford or London, and I've got, say, 300 grand. I want a portfolio. I want 15%. I want all money out. And I'm like, and I want them to be in London specifically was his first. And then I've went, I can get you 4% on a cupboard if you want for that kind of money. So now he's came back a little bit, but he's still been so specific that I'm like, he's like, I think Edinburgh's good. I would like a portfolio in Edinburgh. I've got 300 grand. I want to buy the entire outright portfolio for 300. I'm like, so I suppose that, long story short, that actually really worked, that whole process. There was a lady called Sarah 6 weeks ago that this is probably my best one ever. And I'm gutted I never kept it myself, right? Because I didn't realise how good it was at the time. It just kept growing. We got a great deal on it and she redone it. She got 17% net yield on a deal that I should have took.
Wow.
Right? And
it's a fail. It's not a win, it's a fail.
That's a fucking fail big time. I was like, do you know when I'm like, I'm really happy. And then she's like, can I get more of these? And I'm like, can I?
No.
And then a fail for me, that first HMO is definitely a fail in so many ways that are just hard work. Incredibly shocking neighbours that I had to go through all sorts of planning with because they really didn't want HMO next to them. And things I would learn. And then I suppose I had a couple of land deals. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll be in 2026 coming through. One of them will. And I think I pushed the sale too quickly on the St Andrews one.
Okay.
And rather than go in, I kind of basically just was like, I've got 20 minutes to talk to you. Let me just tell you. I was like, it's this much. This is how much you make. This is what you'll do. Do you want it, yes or no? Which is what I should have done was just I went on a course and they says you shouldn't be doing how, you should be doing wow. And I should have just went, are you interested in making profit on this? I've got somewhere that can make profit. Let's sort out an hour. But he was like, I'll give you 20 minutes. And in that 20 minutes, I tried to sell 3 hours. That was a big fail for me because I came away going, he's not buying that ever. I've merrily fucked up here, by the way, and I knew it. But he's now seen the land, and because it's in St Andrews, he's kind of like, oh, I'd be really interested. Can I talk to you again? But my feeling is that if he says to me, I've only got 20 minutes, I'll go, it's not for us. Just come and meet me. So that's me. If you started...
Oh, there's hard questions coming.
If you started... I'm building up to a couple of scaries. If you started in property on January the 1st, right?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that you're older and wiser now,
yep.
What would you do different right now?
Oh, I need more context to that.
Because I'm just going to say, having known your story, right now, if you started in property, right now you're maxing out a credit card, right? To go on a course.
Maybe it depends, because it depends on what you know, in a sense. And that's a
You know where you are.
it's
You
very
know everything.
very very ambiguous question, because if, for example, if I knew how to market, 100% I'd be taking out like a Capital on Tap or an Amex or something, getting a marketing campaign going for ads, for houses, and try to get leads through. Now, whether leads come through and I can find buyers, I can co-source with somebody, I can sell them off, I can refer them on to people and make a referral fee that way and build up a pot, then that's one way. But if I didn't know anything about marketing, then I'm not going to be doing that. If I've got a pot of cash just sitting there and I should like, cool, where to start, I'd been employing a sourcer all day long, because they know what they're doing. Or rephrase that, a lot of them know what they're doing. A compliant sourcer as well, and utilising them so I can, again,
A local sourcer or VA.
no, a local source that find me property. Like I'm saying, if I've got money sitting there and I don't know anything about property, but I know I want to invest in property, it's a good vehicle, but I've got a busy job, whatever, I'm getting a sourcer all day long. I've not got time to do viewings, I've not got the experience, the know-how, what makes a deal, so I'm employing that. Like I say, if I knew marketing, I'd be doing a marketing campaign. But I think the biggest thing anybody can do, regardless if you're an investor, if you're a source or whatever else, is I think a big thing I learned this year as well was about brand, like how you present yourself online. What is your brand? What do you stand for? What are your values? How do you speak to essentially people online, like your clients, your customers? And just being very, very active, like documenting that journey from the start. Something I never done at the very beginning was document everything. It took me a while to start posting. Go back to that. Who are you?
Yeah.
And that's fine for it to creep in, but yeah, it'd be posting as much as I possibly can, cleaning up my profile as soon as I can, making a completely separate one if I had to. But for me, it'd be making sure I'm posting about my journey, bring people on that journey as well, being very honest with it as well, to say like I'm start of the year of looking to get the property, whatever it may be, and documenting that, utilising things like TikTok and all that as well to get followers on your journey. And I guess if you're trying to find deals, like I say, it depends on where you are, but you always use that reference. I get a good pair of shoes, 100%. I'd be finding my area of where I want to invest. I wouldn't be going if I don't know anything about property or I know limited. I wouldn't be going casting out a wide net. Say no, I
Did
do.
you steal my answer there, by the way?
I don't do the whole central belt of Scotland. I do G46, I do G13, wherever you want to be, like to have a kind of small radius that we can get to within 15-30 minutes, and pick up the phone to a few local independent agents. I don't mean, and this is without any disrespect to them, I don't mean like your big chains, your big franchises or anything like that. I think there's a lot kind of hurdles with that one. You could have got a lot of in-house things. It's about selling the next service, whereas independent agents want deals sold. I think
They want
that's
them
the
in and
lifeblood
out,
of it.
whereas the other one, and the other one have got their traditions and the way that they do
So
things.
letting agents, estate agents are quite independent, and just coming on to like not feeding them bullshit. Cash out to investor. I've got this. I've got that. Just being honest and saying, look, I want to get in the property. This is where I'm at. I wonder if you can help me find my first buy to let, and just constantly build up a relationship with them and getting investor meetings booked in, like using platforms like LinkedIn if you're looking for investors, making sure you're targeting the right investor you're looking for, like having that kind of avatar profile of who you want to have as an investor, whether it be somebody to source for, whether it be somebody to do joint ventures with, like picking that out and finding out who that is, and try to connect with as many people as I can.
I think I'm the same. The whole branding thing, the whole spend a bit of time working out who you are. Don't. I think like the last time I met somebody and the guy says, right, I'm going to get myself a website. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And he just had a baby and I was like, get yourself a decent pair of shoes. Take the baby for a walk in your area. Go and meet people. Go and look at houses. Go and draw them out. Actually understand your little bit. It's exactly that. And by the way, and I'm not saying this, that everybody should go and get a baby just to do this, but you're pitching up to local estate agents. You're like, hey, this is it. I'm just interested. This is what I'm doing. And I think it works. It works wonders rather than just going, I'm going to get a website. I'm going to sit in a little dark room and I'm going to contact you. But then the flip side of it is, I think I've been using LinkedIn since the day it started, right? But but in another capacity for my old day job. And I think I wasn't using it enough here. And that's something I would be starting on day one. You know, for me, LinkedIn is all about investment, right? I very rarely get people contact me to say they want to sell their house on LinkedIn.
No, it's more of a kind of professional platform, like kind of like Facebook, but for professionals. You don't really get. Well, I don't really get many people come. I get some tickets through Instagram, but not Facebook as such, which is kind of the same thing. I know that, but like that's what I'm saying. I was trying to cover a kind of wide range there, but I think the most important thing, if I was January 1st, for example, and rather than doing this new year, new me, I'm going to shed 20 stone in 5 days. Use that as part of your story. I'm out walking, you're looking for properties, whatever it may be, but get to know your area. So if you've got a postcode you're looking at, for example, again, 15-30 minutes that you can get to, it could be one that if you're working, for example, you can nip out at lunchtime in your lunch break, or you're at home, it's not far from, like, however you want to juggle your time, essentially. And the thing about independent agents as well, and another reason I mention it is a lot of them are open to doing weekend viewings and later night viewings, because obviously they're wanting to get it sold and they're wanting to get traffic in. It's not just a 9 to 5 like any kind of startup. I'm not saying a startup, but you know what I mean. Like, they're open to kind of late viewings and weekend viewings, which might help if you're in a 9 to 5 typically. But the reason I say is find your area is because, one, it's easy to connect to. You're not having to drive like an hour to get to a viewing, but it's close by. But then you want to be understanding things like what is a 1-bedroom flat, 2-bedroom flat, 3-bedroom flat, house, terrace, semi, detached. What are they typically going for? What's walk-in condition going for? What do they rent for? What kind of demographics in that kind of area? There's loads of tools you can look at online. There's loads of things you can find online. I would just sitting through, like, even just like Rightmove and just looking at all that information, picking your postcode, 1-beds, prices, streets. Which streets sell for higher? Which streets sell for lower? Which streets are more like cash flow streets? Which streets are more capital appreciation streets? So is that maybe going to be your flips on these streets? Is that maybe going to be your rentals on that streets? Or if you're expanding a little bit more, like, is there certain areas that are more like cash flow cows? Like, you're not going to get great appreciation, but my God, you're going to get good cash flow. Or actually, it's more an affluent area. It's more, prices are a bit higher, so your cash flow isn't as much, but your appreciation is going to be higher. Or you maybe can flip more things in that area, and just really understand that patch that you want to look at. And then obviously as time grows, you can obviously understand as you go. But at the very beginning, I've been doing that in the first few weeks. Honestly, just really honing down on that area, because you want to be walking in an area and having a conversation with agents as well, and knowing your numbers to rock up and go, right, cool, this 3-bedroom terrace, I know you can roughly get about 150 to that value. Obviously do your comps and everything when you're still going through it to make sure you're on there, but you really want to know your area, what a typical kind of yield is and stuff like that as well. So
I think well, if I was doing that, and I was thinking of if you had a little bit of money, you don't need a lot, but I'd be looking at, as well as these kind of like understanding your area, I'd be looking at saying, right, do I need, like you talked about, hiring a sourcer, or do I need to get a VA? Do I need to start thinking about content that I'm doing when I'm doing my viewings? Do I need to, so that you don't need to start, like, oh, I'm going to put a bit of content in every day, but you do need to have consistency, obviously. And then more importantly, it needs to be, you put quality in and you just consistently put it in, but it doesn't need to be every day. And I think that starts to help with your brand. And as long as you know what you're standing for, and then you've got your area, I think that's kind of where I would be. I would hire a VA if I was going to do it straight away, or I would hire, like you say, a sourcer if I had a bit of money on it as well. You talk about documenting everything. So I had somebody at the beginning of the year work for me, right, a sales guy, and it was when I was, you know what you know when you walk into a house, right? And you're like, you walk in and you're at the front door and you're checking it, and the door shutters a wee bit and you're like, oh, and then you're like, straight away, you're like right to the boiler, to the gas, to electric, you're checking radiators, you're looking at 80 mil pipes, you're, all these things that you just probably know, but don't even notice that you know. Do you see what I mean? And actually, it was a great lesson for me to write them down, because I was telling it to someone, and it was like, right, walk in the gate. What is do the windows smile? Oh, does that mean there's a problem here? if they're dropping, is the double glazing working? Is the door shuttering? And I think for me that was good. So I would be viewing houses on the lower end. I would look and be looking for faults. I'd be getting a bit of ladders and I'd be going up the loft. I'd be trying to find gutters. I wouldn't be buying every piece of equipment you ever need to buy. I wouldn't be going and joining 25 systems and downloading them and having the best website that does nothing. I think it's the grunt of it. I guess I would say down in the mines doing the physical job rather than trying to be lording it.
I think, like I'm saying, I would try to hit every kind of point possible, because if you've got money sitting there, or you want to go and take a credit card, you can afford the monthly repayments, and it's an investment into what you're doing. Like, you can start by having all that in place. You don't have to. I didn't have that in place when I first started. Everybody's going to be different, because everyone thinks, I need to get all these ducks in a row before I start. The important thing is just starting in the first place. Like, it doesn't matter if you don't get a website set up. It doesn't matter if you've not got, great experience in it. But what I would say as well is, like, like Roger spoke at this last time as well, is just picking that lane. If you want to go and do buy-to-lets, go and do buy-to-lets. Don't be looking at HMOs and SAs and, flips and all that. Maybe buy-to-lets and flips kind of go hand in hand a little bit in terms of, because, what I've just said. But if you're looking at buy-to-lets, don't go look at SAs. You'll be attracted to so many sexy theories that always come up in these different strategies at different points.
That was
because
a failing of mine. I'm going to go.
You
I should
just
put
pick
that as a
so
fail.
many. I know, like, you just pick so many things, and it's like, that looks good over there. Oh, that looks good over there. And before you know it, you're looking at all these different things doing nothing, whereas you could just pick one lane, stick to it, and just run with it. And it might just be like buy-to-lets, and you do maybe 2 or 3 or 4 buy-to-lets, and you go, right, cool, now I'm going to look at SAs and only look at SAs. So only look at 3-bedroom houses in this area. Laser focus on what you're looking for, and it'll help, because then you're not getting distracted with other noise. Oh, sure, I've got a 1-bedroom flat. No, 3-bedroom house. Oh, but I've got a 3-bedroom house.
I know. I was honestly, I think at one point I remember one day I was talking to somebody about a land deal out kind of Fife area, talking to him out in Perth. And then I was talking to the guy down south about the Norwich one. I was talking about some rent to SA, and then the guy was trying to do a mirrors with me, and I'm like, right. And I just went and I said to the guy, I'm not doing that any rent to SA at all. No. And he's like, that's a great deal. I'm like, great. I'll give you the name of somebody that might want it. Because I was like, I was writing a list of everything, and I was like, Jesus, man, I need to, like, your time block, and I'm like, 2 hours on SA, 2 hours on Flip. And what you're doing is you're only scratching the surface on every one of them.
Yeah, because you really need to get involved in it all. And again, it goes to the same as, like you're saying, like, rent to SA seems, I think you can still get it done. I know people are still doing it in Scotland and all that. And Matt spoke about in one of the earlier episodes about having a really good rent to SA business, or it might not have been on our episode. I've spoken to him before about it. But they're really
Alex
good rent.
does it as well.
Aye, Alex Cockell does it as well. Aye, and they're good. But I think obviously it's like, that's fine because that's what people are doing, but don't get trapped into saying, oh, that looks good over there, let's go and have a wee peek. Like, I would just stick to something and just run with it.
I've binned about 3 things.
Aye, you can also diversify your portfolio at any stage. I mean, go and get a couple of one thing, get a couple of other things. But if you say, I'm open to anything, you're kind of just throwing your rod in the water and just hope somebody fucking takes a bite. Whereas, that's got the right bait, putting that water and going for it. So aye, January 1st, that's what I would do, all that.
Funny enough, that's why we talked last year, and I was like, yeah, I want to do a portfolio. That's why I jumped from a do to, I was like, I don't have the time of the day to even think about it. I'm just, what will bring in money? What can I, if I'm being honest with me, I would prefer that I did something, I got it up and running, and like you say, I hired somebody and let them run with it. Because I hire someone who eventually will be better at me than at it.
Aye.
And then I can just move on to something else. And maybe that's just my nature, but then I can move on to something that I go, actually, I can help with this, and then build this up and build this up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, so I
think there are so many free resources available, but they're free for a reason, and there's only so much that they'll scratch the surface on and all that. And I see a lot of TikToks from a lot of well-known educators, investors, and everything else. I'll look at their numbers. Everybody does it. I could do one tomorrow. You got 100 grand. Here's how you buy 4 houses, and they split the 25 grand into 4 houses. I'm like, cool, mate. What about your ADS? What about your legals? What about your refurb? What about this? What about that? And like, it's a high level, sexy stuff that it's not actually the nitty gritty of it. So as much as all that free content's out there, just be a bit wary of what you're ingesting in your brain. There's loads of, like, obviously I've never shied away the fact I've done courses. I will always do courses and training and invest in myself to do that. But not everybody can go and do the course. I put me in a credit card. I've been really open with saying that. I've done it on a credit card. I could pay it off, and I trusted that I'd be able to eventually pay it off with a deal. But if you can't do that, I think nowadays there's loads of wee kind of groups you can join that
But
can
you've got
that
to
can
take,
be.
you've got to take everything with a pinch of salt. There's,
Yeah.
everybody's mother's telling you, by the way, this is the next thing in AI, right? Every single person without fail, I must look at 30 AI things a day, and they're all actually just the same, selling the same shite after a while, right? It's just, how many have you looked at, I don't know, that go, top 6 chat GPT lines that you can use? You're like that. Excuse me, I'm swearing a lot here. Fuck off. It's just all the same.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by there is loads, and as I was saying, there's loads of wee mini groups coming out now that is quite affordable, and it's finding the right one in your area. It's finding the right one that comes recommended, and it's just being wary who you're paying your money to, essentially, at the end of the day as well. Because sometimes it's the case, you go and pay and you pay a monthly fee and it's kind of like left for your own device. Sometimes it's there's loads of value in there, but there's many ways you can do it and educate yourself and learn without having to pay thousands on a course. I'm still an advocate for doing like courses and stuff like that as well. I've done it and I'll continue to do it, but not everybody's in that position where they want to do it, or maybe don't have the credit to get an interest-free card and all that kind of thing. Not financial advice. So just in case, but don't end up getting into debt at the start of the year. Do you know what I mean?
You're like that, Sean said.
Sean said, I know.
Sean said I should get one. It's 36% APR.
No, at the end of the day, like, I think the most important thing I'd always take away from it though is just start. If you're going to talk about starting, just start. Just do it. Do something. Don't fan about and think, I need to wait until
My website's done.
I need to wait until my website's done. I need to wait until I get an investor. I need to wait until, I win the lottery. I need to wait till my granny dies to get my inheritance. Like, just
I've hired 2 sales guys.
Aye.
Like, just fucking killing it.
Aye. So that's the biggest thing. Just start. Come January the 1st, you want to do it, just fucking make a start and know your area, know your patch, and grow from there.
And I think, just go back to training, I went to a training course, as you know, in March, digital marketing course. I'm not going to name them because we're not going to drop names and stuff like that, but
pay us if you want it.
Awesome. It was just, I was like, I know a little bit about social media. I think in digital marketing, I reckon having went on the course, knew 8%, right? Now, I know 35 or 40. Because there's things that they talk about, I didn't know what VSLs or any of these things were, and it was just like, go high level we talk about, which I just, at one point, I think if they take a step back and look at go high level, they might go, actually, that's verging on illegal. Some of the things that people, go high level, you know what it's like. People go unsubscribe to things. I know websites that when it says unsubscribe, the go high level then goes, if it says unsubscribe, send to, and it just pummels them. Because they're like, and send texts. I had mine at one point sent up, and the guy's like, do you want to send an SMS on the same day that you send a WhatsApp or an email? I'm like, will that not just annoy the guy? And he go, well, he might just give in. I'm like, I don't think that works. That's they're going to do the wrong.
That's fine. There's certain touch points you want, WhatsApp, text, email. You never know which one they'll look at. Sometimes they'll look at the WhatsApp and go, right, I'll go back to that. Sometimes they'll look at the text and go, right, go back to that, and then forget about it, and then they go check their emails in the afternoon and go, oh, fuck, he text me later on. So, anyway, I'll get this out of the way. I punished myself by even picking these up myself. Ginger as well. I seen a turmeric one. I thought, what one's the most tamest one again? I cannot remember.
It's
and we've never had these ones.
Turmeric one will be the tamest.
Yeah, and we've never had these ones before, so I've no idea what they'll be like. Oh.
See, when you smell it and your kind of whole mouth's going like that, danger.
So when I smell like Sambuca tequila these days, man.
Yeah. I'm the same.
Oh, dearie me. Merry Christmas. The first swallow.
Oh, that is a mental one.
The first. Tell you what?
Do you know, it's got tastes like it's got malt vinegar in it or something.
Fucking hell.
Merry Christmas.
You filthy animal.
So, one risk.
Taking that shot.
I'll go first. One risk that paid off. I'm going to go with the HMO. I was like, I didn't think that. Or I suppose the people, one risk, the guy phoning me saying, any chance you can find that? And I was like, I can't be bothered. Mate, what is it you want? And he's like, I just want a house that will get me 850 grand and I only want to give you 25 grand. I want 850, sorry, I'm off.
You're going to say.
85 grand. And I was like, I don't know. That was a risk that paid off for me, and it's probably, as I say, with Sarah coming on, I'm now, it's just ticking over and ticking over and ticking over. I'm going to tell you something really strange. So these are all Emirati people and Saudi people and 2 in China now. About 2 weeks ago, there's a newspaper in Dubai called the Khalij Times. Right? Ooh, like a national. I suppose it's a wee bit like a mix between the Daily Record and the Sun and a bit Daily Mailish, right?
Daily Sun.
Mm-hmm. And on it, and I read it online, and on it, it goes, don't believe any of these scammers who are offering more than 10% on returns. And to be honest, I am. I've never not gave over 10 on one because I just find places that are just about right.
I think in Scotland as well, it's even, I know you're looking in other places as well, but Scotland, you're going to get higher returns just because it's been an earlier podcast episode that on average, as much as they've come up and they've seen that I think the biggest growth in the UK overall is still cheap in comparison. Do you know what I mean? So,
but I wrote back, I've got to tell you this, I wrote back to the editor. He's not came back to me. I wrote back to him saying, I noticed you said that you couldn't get this return if you bought bonds in America. I was like, well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you the name of 8 people in Dubai that have got over 15%. Do you want to contact them and tell them that they're telling porkies? So, he's not wrote back to me. Obviously, I'll probably never be allowed in the UAE again because of it. But so, what about yourself? What is one risk that paid off? I'm asking a couple of personal questions soon, by the way. So let's.
Yeah, well, I think that's a time now. So
keep going.
Do you know? I think to me it wasn't. It was a kind of easy decision when I kind of looked at everything, but there's still a risk at the time. I think just the unknown, but obviously having done projects with someone in the past, and they had made us an offer to go full time with them. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I was reading through it. I think I was saying at the time as well that I was kind of asking your opinion of it and stuff, just to see am I reading this right and everything else. And just the offer that was made, and I'll keep it private, but the offer that was made was like a basic annual salary. I think less than what I was on. I'm on 9 to 5. And just the kind of terms surrounding it was more like I was going to work for somebody else again and be an employee. And having known, what I'd done with that person over the last 12 months, I thought there was an undervalue of me and my service and what I can offer. And I felt it was restricting me and there was a bit of a ceiling to it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, having come from an employee world where there is that safety net of a wage and everything else, and potentials and everything else, there's always that risk of, shit, are you making the right decision? Like, could you get like a better opportunity by doing that and that safety net again and everything else? And you kind of go through everything. Well, I did go through everything in my head to say, right, is it a risk not taking it? But then I started to say to myself, is it a bigger risk taking it? From everything you've built up in the past to then taking that kind of felt like a backward step for me in a sense. But again, it was still a big risk to even decide on it.
That is just security, but over a, you could easily go, I can go this, I can make the money, I'm still learning it, I can visit it later on. But like I said, are you going to come back in 6 months and go, oh my nightmare, what am I doing?
Because I'll go back to what I said at the start of the podcast, being able to go to that activity play. Now, would I have been allowed the time? Yeah, possibly, but I don't need to ask anybody. But I didn't build up with this information and knowledge and stuff to give a service. I know how good I am at that kind of side of it and what I could offer and value-wise, and I felt I was massively undervalued, but declined it anyway, and I was at the start of the year, and I found someone else, and I think they're doing brilliant, and fair play to them for the guy to stepped in as well and doing it. I think obviously he's learning from it as well, and I think he's doing well, which is amazing. Like I've no hard feelings over it. 100% think
it's not a bad personal thing.
100% think, and it's not for me saying that was a wrong move for anybody to take by the end. And I will say that it's not a case of me saying like, oh, nobody should have took that as a terrible offer. I just said for me where I was, what my value, my circumstances, it wasn't the right thing for me. Thinking of it, but I then done that assisted sale, which netted me, I think maybe 4-5k off the annual salary that I was getting or offered.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that to me was the biggest. Now you made the right decision, because that was just one deal. I've done countless other source deals and renovated projects for clients as well, and for people that I source deals for. Get a flip project and a few other things kind of working away with as well. So for me, that was the biggest thing. Like, you made the right decision, because not just from the monetary side of things, which just not, I'm not a monetary driven person, if that kind of makes sense, but more of a, like, what you would have been giving up would have been much of a higher risk than what you're doing just now. So that for me, that was a risk that I never took it, and it's paid off, I think.
And I think you're good. Just one thing, that was up for 2 seconds. What time are we finishing? I'll tell you why. Stay with me. We could probably go for another 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and tell them we want to split them into two and just do them week after, because it's a Christmas special.
No, let's do one big one.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. So cut that bit out.
Aye. That's camera top for cut that bit.
Is it?
Cut. So let me ask a couple of questions that you brought up. So what social media do you use?
So Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, obviously for this. I do have a LinkedIn, and I fell off a cliff with that for a while, but there's a plan behind that, and I'll kick off again in January. But I've got a good plan for that.
Right.
But yeah, I pretty much the kind of four mega ones is Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn, YouTube.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm the same. That I use the YouTube for. So I have like videos on my Go High level, and I use a lot of YouTube that are hidden videos. So I have a YouTube channel, but it's got lots and lots of hidden videos. So if you go in, you can do that. You can save them all, and it's only people who have the
link and all that. Yeah,
it gets in, and I use that. But I think that's an area I will exploit. I don't do TikTok enough. I do LinkedIn.
That was
probably
a big thing.
More than Facebook, in fact.
Aye, so that was the biggest thing for me, kind of late on this year, was I've got a VA who does all my social media for me, and it's been such a time saver. I also give them all the raw content. I also give them all the. So I've got a brand book now, so it's how it should look, feel, sound, tones, what kind of font to use, what kind of colour to use, what kind of message you want to put out, and all these kind of examples, and brilliant. So being able to hand it over and go, look, this is how I want everything to look and sound. And she's phenomenal at getting the content out. It goes out on time. I don't really need to think about what I'm saying. If that kind of makes sense. I just give her.
Does she post it for you, or do you post it?
She posts it for me. So I'll give her the raw content. So it might be like a viewing or a walk around for a project or a deal or whatever it may be. And she'll add in her own wee stuff, clips from the podcast and all that. And she'll chop all that up and edit it all. And just that time factor to save. And that's been the biggest thing I'll be rolling into next year, is just where else can I make those sort of strategic hires, I suppose. I don't know if you hire a VA or I don't know what the word is for that. But
do you check her output before it goes out then, or?
We had a trial period of, she would send me everything that she was about to post, I'd make some tweaks to it until it became a recurrence that no, this is how it should be. And that's where the playbook, the brand playbook comes into play, because that has got like how it should look and feel, and the tone and everything, the colour and the fonts, and it's all in line. So there shouldn't be any kind of mismatch. There was a little bit to begin with, just through a couple of wee things. It was just daft wee things. But that was a big one for me. Like that, honestly, like I used to sit for 2-3 hours on Sunday night scheduling my posts, think about what to say, creating, things on Canva and all this kind of stuff. Like, it takes time. That's 3 hours. So then you think to yourself, well, what else can I be doing in that time? And that's what I thought, that when I said about that kind of timesheet, that was a big thing for me, that if that was in there, that would be the first thing I would notice to say, right, I need to get somebody else in to do that. And that's where the timesheet is going to come in handy for me, is to say, right, I spend a lot of time, so I've got to split up to like business, money making activities, or generate money, business generating income, and a few other things. So I'm looking at, well, if I'm constantly going out to stuck in traffic, can I go to viewings? Can I give somebody an SOP of what exactly I'm looking for, and hire them to do the viewing and work out something like that? And that for me takes my time away from going to the viewing.
Yeah. That's my next step.
And then I can focus on other bits as well. Oh, they do viewings and I do other viewings, and I'm just doubling up the volume. I don't know how I'm going to work it yet, but so that's something I'll look to as well. But I think your question about social media is, I've got a VA who does all the posts, and she's brilliant at it, but I give her all the content and I steer her in that way. She just makes sure the content is there, it's ready, it's edited, and she posts it for us. And I think that's absolute game changer.
I had another guy as well that I was using, and I ran that course I went on. They were like that. You need to run gamification across 2 of them and work out which one comes out the best, and give them the first week of exactly what you want, and give them 4 weeks. It really worked. See if people are struggling. And by the time I got to week 3, I was like, just be vague as I can. I want 2 statics and a reel every day. That's what I want. I want you to do it on the themes on the previous weeks and tell me and then show me. And then it worked, and I'm the same. The guy I got was good. A wee bit dearer than yours, unfortunately.
She'd come recommended from somebody else that used her, and it's funny because if I say who it was, and you went and looked at my profile and their profile, very similar in terms of how things look. But without that, you wouldn't be able to tell. But for me, I don't care. Like, it's
still a person with personal way.
It's still me. It's still my thing coming out there. It's how I want to sound. It's brilliant. But I think what they are saying there about that kind of trial and error and giving me things, I think that brand playbook eliminates all of that. It eliminates any guesswork, because I give them on that examples of what to post and how to post and messages to get across, and it's brilliant in that kind of sense. But again, like we said, if you're going to start in January 1st, like, having social media is massive, and like you said there, every platform's got its own kind of need or its own demographic of user. Meta's obviously massive because it's obviously Facebook and Instagram, but what you say and how you say things on Instagram isn't how you're going to say things on LinkedIn, because the professional platform. What works on Instagram won't work on LinkedIn. You wouldn't upload a video to TikTok, download it, and post it on Instagram, because the algorithm wouldn't like that, because it's a TikTok video rather than an Instagram generated video. So there's loads of wee niches like that people just maybe not aware of. But certainly I think having that awareness of being on things like TikTok and Instagram, just everywhere, like a kind of omnipresence, it's important.
And then I'm thinking next year. I'll go first because I wrote mine, and then you can finish off on a high. I think for me, like I said, and when we were talking about, I want to be able to build things and then hand them over. I will hire a sourcer and or sales. I know I had a bash at it. The beginning this last year, 2025, because this goes out in 26. See what I'm doing there?
Oh yeah, I like it.
2025, I think it didn't quite pan out the way it was expected for various reasons.
Nothing to do with my sales training, was it?
Your sales training was phenomenal, mate. And I think I need. I've now set it up. I never wanted to do sourcing, as you know, but I kind of fell into it a little bit just because I was like, people were asking, and then I started doing. I get a lot of responses back, all right, from Facebook and Instagram and things like that. So I'm going to hire people to do that so I can step away from it because, and I feel as though this has been going on forever, but I've not showed you so the first draft came back with the software that I've just must be doing. I feel as though I've got this IP and this patent for this software that I'm just doing nothing with, and it's my target. It's absolutely
dragged on a bit, mate. I'm not gonna lie.
It has dragged because I've been embroiled in other things that have sucked me away from it. The sales is a good example. I was hoping just to hand that and go. Didn't work. So I'm visiting again to say this is what we're doing, and then the software will target me. I will do that as well as that. AI. What was it they said? You're either interested, you use it a lot, you're not interested, or you're obsessed with AI. I'm definitely obsessed, right?
I would say, yeah.
I'm definitely obsessed. I have some AI agents that I ran one just to see what I could find out, and it came back with 300 emails that were sent out automatically to potential clients, and I was like that. Shit, man, I've just made this net too big. I need to thin it back down. So I'm going to start exploiting them. And then I might even just say to people, when we do our training course, I'm going to get invited to a day and give people this. Or I'm just going to do something with it. Because some of the AI agents that I've built, I need to hand to the sales guy or a sourcer or a VA or someone else because they're finding work, finding business. But as I say, I'm pulling back from systems, just sitting with AI. AI is not a system; it's a way of living. I'm just going to tell you one thing on the AI because I know I talk about it so much; it's untrue now. There's a thing called the wheel day, because you'll hear this soon. You'll hear it next year a lot. It's called the wheel day, and what they said was that when people were cavemen and they were pushing a square around, and they couldn't, and then they made it a wheel. And then suddenly you were like, oh, I can make a wheelbarrow or a tank. The wheel day for AI is December 2027, where they say it's the turning point that it will be great or scare the shit out of you. So we're not that far away. We're only 2 years away from the wheel day for AI. So just get on it.
I've been using it quite a lot more, not just for making funny pictures, but I have done that as well. But I definitely try that agent side of things as well and incorporating that as well. And I use it for a lot of responses to a lot of things as well. But I certainly just scratch the surface, I think, with it. So I was plan to learn more of that and implement that. But I think
so next year, what are you doing?
For this year, 2026.
2026. What are you doing in the next 364 days?
Aye. Hard when you're recording it in 2025. You know what? I said at the start of the year last year, I can't remember what episode it was, and somebody will probably pull me up on it if I don't mention it. So, by this year, I was going to look at building a portfolio this year, and through various means, I think, obviously, like I say, that risk of that offer, not taking it, and I think in my head, I wanted to prove myself with going, no, do you know what? I don't need that. I can do this, and not have that almost arm there.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, nah, I can do this myself fully. And that for me is a big point to almost go and prove to myself more than anything else. And I took my eye off the ball, we'd try to build something. And there was a few opportunities that came my way. I thought I could do this, but they were all in areas, like for me, when I was going to start it, I wanted it in certain areas, and opportunities came out of the area, and I'd be a kind of fraud to myself if I went and done that. If I'm saying to myself, oh, I want these areas, these like 2-bed minimum, this kind of stuff, I'm getting a 1-bed in Aberdeen, for example.
Yeah.
Wasn't it was a bad deal? It's just I would be a fraud to myself if I said, no, I want 2 bedrooms in this area.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take a 1-bedroom up in Aberdeen just because it's a good deal. So people might go, oh no, you should have just took it, all that kind of stuff. But so I think that was maybe one of the feels I should have put down, to be fair. But so that is probably more a fire now me to get that started this year. And I've got a plan for it. And then I think just continue more. I think, like I said, they're touching on that hire for the VA was an eye opener to the kind of time you're saving. I'm going to, again in January this month, when this is live, look at that time sheet again. What have I done for the first 4 weeks in January? Right, cool. Let's nip that in the bud straight away. And where's my next person to bring in? And I think it will be somebody that does the viewings for me.
Yeah.
And whether that's paid on per viewing, whether that's paid per viewing plus mileage, whether that's paid per viewing plus a percentage. I don't know how it's going to structure yet, but I think that would be the next one to come in. Like if I'm doing a viewing in Inverclyde and doing a viewing up in, try to think, North Lanarkshire, it's a fair track, and there's so much roadworks in between right now, it's unbelievable. You could be like an hour and a half in traffic, a lot of time wasted in traffic, that's what I found. So, yeah, and it might be a case of niching down more as well. I think I say Glasgow surrounding, and it's obviously massive to get down, so it's either going to be dialing down on the area or having people in certain areas to do the viewings and bring them in that way, or somebody else come in and help with the sales side of things as well. So I don't know where that looks yet, but that will be certainly part of the plan, and then continue doing a lot of the trading stuff as well. So whether that's trading it through flips, assisted sales, assured sales, trading it through, I wanted to trade through auction, which I've not done yet, but it's just buy, do nothing, sell at auction. It's one of those ones that like sexy, I'm not focusing on it, but if it came up, it's something I want to do and tick off. Because I've always had things to say like, I wanted to do like an assured sale, an assisted sale, all those kind of things you want to do, and I want to tick off and say I've done one of them. So that'd be something I'd want to do.
What was that guy? Is it Adam? Can't remember his surname. That's all he does, and he buys. So he's worked in an auction down south forever, right? His whole life, his only job he's ever done. And about 3 years ago, all he done was auction deals, but he buys about 250 a year, right? And he says he breaks about 60% profit. So he buys absolute dingers that go nowhere, and it's a nightmare for him, and he has to try and offload them back. But he does 60%. He's profiting on.
And there's been a couple that I thought, even just recently, that we sold elsewhere. I thought, why the fuck did I do that there? Because I'm not looking at that. It wasn't part of my focus, but I want to try that this year.
But I think it's because you've got other, as you say. And then I'm just going to ask you a question because I'm trying to do the same as well. How are you finding decent? How do you find good people? I mean, the VA, I have the same VA as well, and you're right. I think they're good, but there's some things they can't go on viewings because the commute will be a right bastard, isn't it, from Philippines. But how would you find decent people? Because obviously decent people might not want to come to you because they're doing it for themselves, but you want somebody that's experienced. You want them to grow with you. So not too experienced, but experienced enough.
Yeah, I think...
and don't say Indeed. Please don't say Indeed.
Indeed's very good, though.
No.
It's a tough one because... So, for example, if you're looking for, listen, I want to find a really good sales experience person, they're cracking at sales, blah, 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 but I want to pay them an average salary, it's not going to work. You're not going to get a great salesperson coming for somebody, for a wage structure that you're putting down as average. And what I mean by that is if you're trying to say it's a non-commission, probably would be for sales, so it's probably the wrong example to use, but let's just say you get something really experienced.
Like a sourcer.
Yeah.
A sourcer that is just sourcing property.
For me, it'd have to be somebody who's got the time aspect to it. It could be somebody who works weekends or nights or whatever else, but they can get out during the day and make viewings for you. Hungry enough that they want to make some commission off the back of it. Coachable as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need the experience. If you've got enough SOPs in place and you can basically give them a guide on what to do, maybe check over it for the first few weeks and let them kind of learn that way as well, then. But where do you find them? Don't know, man. You've tried and failed on it with one. You see many people taking on hires and it's just not worked out. That's probably the fun of it, isn't it? I've not done it yet, so I couldn't tell you where to find them. So it's hard because if you say, somebody young, then are they going to be coachable, approachable? Are they going to be wise enough to what to look for? Are they going to do it properly? I don't know, man. There's so many kind of pitfalls to it, but I guess that's the hard point of it, isn't it? Then you go through that interview process. So,
yeah,
pass, mate. Put it on
someone out there.
Put it out on Instagram
Someone out
until they get back to it. That is like anything, mate. Like, I wouldn't say Indeed, but it's like any kind of hire, isn't it? It's like, I don't think anyone's going to refer a great experienced sourcer, salesperson, whatever, because they're either locked up or they want them. Do you know what I mean? So you'd have to, if somebody's got a salary, I say 25k, and they've got commission based, do you try and lure somebody away for a different company? Say, I'll give them 35k and a commission based. Salespeople are money driven, aren't they? So I don't know, mate. I don't know, but it'll be trial and error a lot, I think, for sure.
Yep.
I'll let you know in 12 months.
Fantastic. Anything else you would like to add, Jonathan?
Nah. Do you know what? It's been a good year. We're on episode 22. This one. Obviously looking for more guests for this year. Anybody that's come on that's felt like they've nothing to share, I've come away going, I didn't think we could talk about so much, and they've got so much value from it. They've got business from it as well. They've been able to share their story. So again, we'll go back to that whole social media thing and getting out there and showing people your journey. Like, this is part of showing people your journey, coming on things like podcasts where you can talk openly, and if you've ever watched any of the episodes prior, you know it's not a case of, you know, tell about every granular detail, just a chat. So we're always looking for guests. So if you want to come on, if you want to recommend something, come on. Anybody want to hear from, any topics you want covered, like I said, we've had people on like auction, lettings, sales. We'll get specific people on again to talk about something more kind of granular to help people as well. But no, I'm looking forward to this year coming up. I'm looking forward to the guests we'll get on the podcast, and we will have our own stuff as well. And it'll be a phenomenal year.
Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I would just like to repeat that as well. A lot of people say, oh, I heard this guy was on this podcast, or this woman was on this podcast. It was great. I liked this and I done this. And I was like, right, well, did you contact them? And they're like, I did. Actually, I know a couple of people that went out on a recent Sunday and says I reached out to them. And I think also we'll get, just because I'm anally retentive, we will get an AI person on just to kind of an angle that we can hammer, that can help people. I think we should definitely get someone on that goes, do these 15 things that's going to help you. I think we need to get a couple of business people on. I think I would like to see, I've got like someone I look at on Facebook that's like an accountant person that goes, here's 15 tips about accountancy. Like, did you know that you can spend £150 on taking yourself out for Christmas as a limited company and it's tax-free?
£300 you can take a partner as well.
Correct. See, I just see if I got somebody that came on and I was like, give us 50 tips, I would literally write them all down when they told them. So we'll get these type of people on as well.
Good. No, I like it.
Okay. Yep. Thank you very much for your time, everybody. I hope you had a great Christmas and I hope you had a great New Year.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.